Good evening, I'm Katerina Georgieva. Here's what's making news right now.
There were some tears, frustration. The tough part is you hear of all these vehicles that are going to be coming down to Stellantis. But with all those vehicles, I don't know, are you going to need a company that does what Syncreon does?
It was an exceptionally busy couple days, but our people do a great job. They just showed up to work, did their job, probably went home a little bit tired this morning.
You know, we just come here to donate blood, and we don't really have a cause for it. It's just a good thing to do, and we hope other people will take advantage of it and see us doing it and say, yeah, maybe I should try it.
Thanks for joining us. We begin tonight with some sobering news in the auto industry. More than 200 people who work at the Syncreon plant are losing their jobs. The company organizes parts for the Windsor assembly plant in a just-in-time basis. And Dale Molnar has been on the story and joins us now live in studio. Dale, can you walk us through what's happening here?
Well, the workers were brought in from a summer shutdown yesterday, and given the news, everyone is being laid off. The plant sequences auto parts for the Windsor assembly plant. But now Stellantis has decided to bring that work in-house, so it has informed Syncreon this week that its services will no longer be needed. We have reached out to Syncreon and Stellantis. Stellantis got back to us with a statement. It reads, as Stellantis transitions to a sustainable mobility tech company, we continue to review our operations for efficiencies. One of the operations we identified involves moving our sequencing and metering operations back into the Windsor assembly plant. This will allow us to utilize available space within the plant. Now, the past 2 years have been rough on the approximately 220 workers at Syncreon. COVID and the microchip shortages have caused several weeks of shutdowns. I spoke to a worker this afternoon. He says they were told at a meeting yesterday the plant has until October 31st. They are concerned they won't have enough weeks of employment insurance built up, and he's wondering how many weeks of work they will actually get this year before the plant shuts down. Well, how do you feel about this news?
It's sad, obviously. Going to be missing a lot of friends. Don't know exactly how much work's going to be until the end of October. Could be a week, could be full of work. That's the tough part, is not knowing when and how long we'll be working for up until the time that we're done.
What were you told yesterday? When was the announcement made?
We had a meeting at 11. We were called in for 11 o'clock. It was optional if you wanted to go, but it looked like it was almost 100% turnout because we're all wondering. We all want to know what's going on. And they had our plant manager talk to us. A couple other people talk to us. Somebody from the local 195 was there to talk to us. They told us that, unfortunately, Chrysler Stellantis won't need our services come October 31st. I can only assume that it's the cost-cutting move that Stellantis has tried to do ever since they've come in, was to cut costs all along. We'd been losing jobs in our plant at Syncreon. It's got to be almost a year now. It seems like every week we go in, there's another cell that's gone, another couple jobs that are gone. So the writing was on the wall. We just didn't think that it was going to be totally closed down.
What are you going to do?
Well, I'm hoping that I'll be able to go back to school. Unfortunately, with that being said, I can't go out and get another job. I have to wait till my job's eliminated in order to qualify for the grants and stuff like that they offer for a second career. I wish that could be expedited. A lot of us were saying yesterday at the meeting that can we just, let's cut it now, right? So that we can get on with our lives, so that we can look for jobs. Because there's some people that I work with, it's a husband and wife. So those are two people that work at Syncreon that are now going to be without a job. I really want to go back to school. I don't know if the money in my bank account will allow me to hold out till October, especially if we're still going through all these layoffs.
Difficult to hear what an impact this will have on many in our community. So, Dale, what's the union saying?
Well, we have calls into Unifor 195, but haven't heard back. Lefebvre says a representative told him yesterday the union will fight for their jobs. But there is a clause in the recent contract that allows for a severance pay should the plant shut down. Now, Lefebvre wasn't optimistic that Stellantis will hire the Syncreon workers, but I just spoke with Dave Cassidy just a while ago, the president of Local 444, and he says they could possibly negotiate a deal with Stellantis to hire the workers. He says even though they have workers on layoff from the third shift, he says in the past they have been able to bring in workers to the Windsor assembly plant when there were shutdowns before at another plant. Kat?
Thanks for this, Dale. CBC's Dale Molnar live in studio for us tonight. And this is on the heels of another major auto announcement in Ontario earlier this week. A plant that will process materials for battery production is being built near Kingston. The plant will be run by Umicore, a company based in Belgium. It's investing $1.5 billion to build the plant. Plus, there will be 1,000 new jobs to build the factory. Then, hundreds of long-term jobs when it's finished before 2026. And it's expected to supply materials for 1 million electric vehicles each year.
This is a critical gap we're filling in the Canadian electric vehicle ecosystem. With today's announcement, we are reshoring a key stage of the battery making process. This is obviously good news for the folks here in the Kingston region. It's good news for the thousands of auto workers in our country. And it's good news for Canada because for me, this is a big vote of confidence in our ability to attract key investment.
In other local news, a chaotic 24 hours for Windsor's fire department yesterday. They had 5 fires they were called to, 3 of them in the city's core. And it started out by the airport, a home on County Road 42 catching fire early in the morning. The fire department says it's not suspicious, but it is under investigation. Then a multi-unit fire near downtown Windsor. This building here destroyed by the flames. Damages at $500,000, taking hours to put out. It is under investigation, but not expected to be a suspicious cause. In the afternoon, another call to the fire department from a couple blocks away. There was smoke coming from the roof of the Windsor Arena. No major damage, but firefighters are still trying to figure out how it started. But before that scene was clear, they were called to another fire on the West End. This recreation complex had its solar panel system malfunction. And then finally, late in the night, pallets caught fire at Niagara and Howard. The cause is unknown at this time. Here's a look at where all these fires were yesterday. And as you can see, a concentration in the core. I spoke with Deputy Chief James Waffle for more on this afternoon. 5 fires in 24 hours. So a lot of people might be asking right now, what is going on?
Yeah, so anytime there's that amount of fire in a short period of time, I mean, it's the first question we ask too, are they tied together? Are they suspicious? Happens to be in this situation, none of them appear to be linked together. They are all unsuspicious, I guess you could say, with respect to the pallet fire, unsure about that at this time. But the others are considered either accidental or known cause, right? Such as the Noveletto fire there.
So somebody might ask, is there an arsonist on the loose in Windsor? What's your response?
So from these fires, not that we're aware of, nothing from our perspective leans to major suspicion with regards to these incidents.
Okay. You talked a little bit about resources and resources being stretched thin. So when you have this many fires in such a short span of time, how do you manage that? How does the department respond?
Yeah, so I mean, even in Windsor, the size of city we are in our resources, when you get into large-scale events, large-scale fires, it takes a lot of manpower, it takes a lot of effort from people because you got to rotate your crews, you got to keep them hydrated, you got to keep them in rehab, and there's this constant rotation. So add to that a second and a third fire, as you can imagine, crews working really hard and we have reciprocal agreements or mutual aid agreements with the county departments. So, at Tuscarora and at the incidents in the afternoon, we did put them on notice. We put Tecumseh and LaSalle on notice for manpower if we need them. So if we needed them, they would have responded in. When we got to Noveletto, LaSalle did send an aerial truck to assist. We didn't end up using them, but again, we got great partnerships and support each other both ways when needed.
Mm-hmm. And we've heard a lot about, burnout and stress among frontline workers, and I just wonder how you're doing with staffing levels. I know you didn't have to pull in anybody else from the county at this point in time, but should this be like a regular thing? Can you speak to that?
Sure. Staffing levels here in Windsor have been good. We have been we've we maintain a minimum manpower every day, and that is maintained. It's been consistent throughout as long as I can remember. We have good people that always rise to the occasion. It was an exceptionally busy couple days, but our people do a great job out there, and really what's nice to see is they did this without complaint, and there really was, they just showed up to work, did their job, probably went home a little bit tired this morning and yesterday morning, but they'll be back and ready to do that if need be the next shift.
To the University of Windsor now. The school says it's restored most of its systems after a security breach that shut down its website last month. On June 22nd, the university issued a notice that the site and other services were temporarily not available. It impacted payroll systems and student online portals, but that's all been restored and staff were all paid on time. Now, the school says a full investigation is underway with cybersecurity experts to understand what happened. A school spokesperson did not answer questions about the cause or if police were called to investigate. Meanwhile, MPs on the House of Commons Industry Committee have voted to investigate the massive Rogers outage last Friday. They'll examine the impact it had on consumers, families, and businesses, and how to prevent it from happening in the future. The widespread outage on July 8th affected millions of Canadians across the country. It knocked out mobile and internet services, as well as ATMs and Interac payments for more than 15 hours. It even prevented calls to 911 in some Canadian cities. The committee will hold at least 2 meetings by the end of the month. A pint for a pint. We want to tell you about a group of auto workers in Windsor who get together every couple of months to donate blood. They've been doing this since 1999. It's a good cause and one the group calls a great excuse to catch up.
We come every 8 weeks, almost on clock time. And this is something we do, and that's something that they all know us. We have pretty well the same shirt, and they know, and they expect us. Yeah, it's a good feeling too. Our group has been together since about 1999, and we started, and then we slowly recruited other people, and then we're all on midnights, and we decided at one point that we're gonna. We get off work at 7:42, we go give blood, and then we go for breakfast. So then we started taking turns paying, and we slowly got more guys in, and it developed into this. We have a couple other guys that are in the 100s, and we have a couple guys who never until they started our group, and now they're regular donors, just because they wanted to be part of our group. So which is pretty awesome.
All of the above. It's nice to hang out with friends, and especially since we've moved around to different parts of the plant, and it's nice to know that you're doing something good.
I donate mainly because I had a kid brother that died of cancer 40 years ago, so people always gave for him, so I find it my way to give back.
Oh, it makes me feel good because, I want this to be here when I need it, You never know when you're going to need the blood donation for yourself. If it's illness or accident, hopefully the supply is there. You need to, maintain that level so that, it's always there. We don't have to go to outside places to get our blood, and it's more available for your community.
I think it's a camaraderie. It's we all know what we're doing. We all have a good time, and we try not to talk about work. We talk about each other's families and things that are going on. It's really a way to catch up because, like I said, we haven't worked together in over 2 years since we lost the midnight shift. So it's really become more of a social than just donating blood and having breakfast.
Well, 600 done. What's the next goal?
We're going for 700. By that time, half of us should be retired. So it'll be a great time to get together and talk about what's going on in life.
Where are you guys going for burgers and beers now?
We go to Chuck's Roadhouse on Walker Road, and that's been our go-to since
We've been drinking beer.
Yeah, for about 4 years. Yeah.
Such a wonderful thing that they're doing. Tecumseh believes its community improvement plan is paying off.
You need to bring people to live in the core area, and that was the first initiative. And since then, it encouraged the business community to basically say, hey, you know what, we've got folks that are moving into the area. Maybe this is a good time to reestablish ourselves.
And the mayor believes it's working. This high-rise development is one of several in the core. The town has invested $100 million so far, with another $40 million planned for streetscaping. 100 new members have joined the Business Improvement Association over the past 2 years.
It was a no-brainer for us. We saw the development happening around us, and we always were looking forward to getting into Tecumseh town when we had the proper opportunity. And you know what? It was just the right time, I guess, the right place. We go big or go home.
Bourbon Tap and Grill has transformed the former Torino restaurant. It opened in March. The town's community improvement plan offers businesses grants to build in the area. They start at $5,000 and could go up to $100,000. It all depends on the project. And you can find more details on our website at cbc.ca/Windsor. Take a live look outside there. We've had a couple of beautiful days, but a chance of showers tonight, and it's going to be pretty wet for several days ahead. Your weather is coming right up. Stay with us. Welcome back. A foundation in Quebec that trains guide and service dogs is starting a special pilot program this summer. They're training canines to comfort victims of domestic and sexual violence. CBC's Rowan Kennedy takes a first-hand look at what it takes to prepare the pups.
Pomelo. Okay.
Karen Winter has been with the Mira Foundation for more than 20 years. She trains dogs to perform specialized tasks like guiding people with reduced eyesight or mobility.
This is a guide dog harness.
They may not have a briefcase, but these dogs will soon have a job. All the dogs here are in training. They're all between 1 and 2 years old. They all have different temperaments, but Winter says some would work really well in a new program to help victims of conjugal violence in courthouses.
Wicket. She would be a wonderful special projects dog. They have to be very, very friendly, very affectionate, and love to be petted.
With the help of the province's Victim Assistance Center, Mira is training Courthouse emotional support dogs. Courthouses in 8 cities already have one. 2 more will be ready in the coming months. The dogs accompany victims as they testify against their abusers.
The calmness of the dog makes them, it transmits a calm into the person, soothes them, and they can keep talking.
Quebec is incorporating the program into its new specialized courts for cases involving domestic and sexual violence. The courts aim to help victims feel less isolated and not re-traumatized by the process. The pilot project ends in 2024, and the government hopes to expand it afterwards. Winter wants to see emotional support dogs in every courthouse in the province. Rowan Kennedy, CBC News, Sainte-Marie-Madeleine.
Colette Kennedy is away today, so for a special treat, we've got CBC's Jennifer LaGrassa joining us for a look at our weather forecast. Jen, thanks for doing this. We've had a mostly sunny Friday, a little bit overcast right now, but talk us through what's coming up for us.
Yeah, so Kat, right now what we're seeing is that it is a little overcast. We're sitting at 26 degrees. We're going to see it drop tonight to 19 degrees. There's a 40% chance of showers as well. And it looks like similar conditions, unfortunately, into the weekend. But it looks like we're going to be getting some of that rain that we've really been missing out on. So Environment Canada predicting that for Saturday, it's going to be cloudy with a 30% chance of showers during the day. And it's going to drop at night. Still that chance of rain. Heading into Sunday, looks like the same cloudy conditions. Rain is likely for the nighttime. That chance continues then into Monday, where it looks like a mix of sun and cloud, 40% chance of showers, high of 29 degrees. And then Tuesday, we finally get that sunshine that we love, 33 degrees, but we're back to rain on Wednesday. Kat, still hot out at 31. And then ahead of the weekend, we took a look at those beach water sampling tests that the Windsor-Essex County Health Unit does. What we're looking at right now is that swimming is not recommended at any of the beaches other than Cedar Beach in Kingsville. Basically, these closures are due to high levels of bacteria, and so they're recommending that swimming might not be safe to do. So unfortunately, Kat, I can't promise you sunshine for the weekend, but what I can say is that you should keep an umbrella handy. Back to you, Kat.
Thanks so much for that, Jen. CBC's Jennifer LaGrassa bringing us the weather today. And when we come back, we are going to take a look at the effects of COVID-19 reinfections. Stay with us.
podcasts.
A lot of new developments on the vaccine front here in Ontario this week. Fourth dose boosters are now available for anyone 18 and older. We also saw Health Canada approve the first vaccine for young kids between 5 months and 6 years old. We're also learning that Omicron and its subvariants are infecting people who've already had COVID-19. And now scientists are looking into those effects of those reinfections, and they're finding that they're more serious for some people than others. Lauren Pelly looks at the science and what it means for your health.
It's the COVID test result no one wants to see, but that Canadians could experience over and over.
Reinfections are not something to be surprised about. They were completely expected.
That's because the virus behind COVID is just the latest addition to a family of coronaviruses that have been infecting humans for centuries.
4 of those other family members cause about 30% of our common colds, and they reinfect us routinely. We've all had multiple bouts of other coronavirus infections, and that's where this virus was always headed.
But will getting reinfected with this virus mean milder symptoms? Erin Wilson first caught COVID in December and again a few days ago.
Everything I'm feeling is quite similar to the first time I had COVID.
Like a cough, chest congestion, and fatigue. Still, Wilson says her second round has been easier.
This one has not knocked me out. The first time I had COVID, I was in bed for 2 days, just slept.
Scientists are hopeful that will be the experience for most healthy adults.
Your first infection with COVID is probably, not invariably, but probably going to be the worst. And then as you get more and more exposed to it, you get better and better protections.
But that might not be the case for people at a higher risk because of their age or other health issues. One early study focusing on U.S. veterans, mostly older men, found reinfections did come with a higher risk of death or hospitalization.
We're going to have to wait for more data. But, you know, it's enough to maybe just make us all a little bit more careful.
There's also research underway in Canada to study the impact of reinfections on lingering long COVID symptoms, all as we face the long-term reality of dealing with this virus over and over. Lauren Pelly, CBC News, Toronto.
A breakdancer is hoping to make Venezuela's national breakdancing team and to set a world record for the longest head slide. Oh my gosh, I panicked watching that, hoping that person was okay. When the traffic lights turn red in Caracas, Kanye Mendez puts on his modified helmet. Okay, he's wearing a helmet. We're okay. And struts his stuff. His performances have gone viral on social media. Mendez has been practicing so-called urban dance for 15 years. Breakdancing was one of 4 sports the International Olympic Committee has provisionally agreed to add to the 2024 Summer Olympics. Very cool. And that is it for CBC Windsor News. For news anytime, go to our website, cbc.ca/Windsor. Thanks for watching and have a great weekend.